pisses me off. Not because I'm soft. I'm not soft. But if you want to wrestle, let's wrestle. If you have a problem with me, let's settle it. If you can't beat me on the mat, try to beat me in the parking lot. But if you can't beat me on the mat, I doubt you can do much to me in the parking lot.
The previous administration took all the guys. Wink, wink.
I just want some ice cream, man. I just want some ice cream.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Shots Fired podcast. This is episode 11. Took a little break last week. Once you get to 10 episodes in the podcasting game, you're fully vested and they give you vacation days. So we decided to use ours last week. I like how we didn't even really discuss that we were going to take it off. We just didn't talk to each other, and we just both assumed that we were going to be lazy and not podcast.
I think both of us were like, I probably should text him and say, are we going to do this? But I really don't want to. It's Memorial Day, so I'll just let him text me. And I think that's how we've got a good cohesion right there.
Oh, yeah.
We both took the day off without even saying anything about it.
Just telepathically.
Just a solid team.
Yeah, so there really wasn't a whole lot of wrestling going on, so that's kind of why we took that week off. But got quite a bit to talk about tonight, I think. So I don't know. Where do you want to go? We got a new logo. Hopefully Tony gets that put up. What do you think of the new logo?
I like it. Patty Rhodes coming through for us. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, she obviously reached out to us, or it wasn't something that we had kind of had asked them about, but I thought that was pretty nice of her to do, or to at least get set up for us. Jared, I think, is the guy that did the design behind it.
Yep. It was through Elite Sports. I know we get all kinds of shirts through them, and they do a great job. They come up with some awesome graphics. We need to get it set up so we can have their phone number or something to give out to people. But yeah, they do a great job. I know they do all the Bosco stuff, so they're definitely proven.
Well, in school like Bosco, you're always having to make championship T-shirts and stuff, so they're very experienced.
Yeah, I had to do quite a bit this year with the other sports too. So, yep, there were quite a bit of them. All right, you want to get right into wrestling, or should we talk about the very important golf tournament that went on this weekend? I don't know if anyone at home was following along, but there was a proven, there was a tournament where everyone probably was following along. There was a proven champion that was in it late, but he faltered on the last day. And I'm hearing that in the Reiter Cup, it was you, Mack, that faltered on the last day.
Yeah, so if you guys aren't familiar, we, as my family, we have a golf tournament every year. Usually play 3 to 4 rounds, keep a stroke score, and it's just, we call it the Reiter Cup, play off the Reiter Cup. I copied their logo and pretty much ripped off all their stuff. And we mimic after it. It's a big time event. There's a champions dinner right before it that only previous champions can go to. This was the 10th annual Reiter Cup. And so we had the champions dinner earlier last week. It was me, my brother-in-law Mike, and my uncle Rod Frost, who's a ref up here in Minnesota, a big-time ref up here in Minnesota, are all former champions of it. I'm a 6-time champion. And actually my dad also was a champion too. He won the second one, but so it's pretty funny because then, my other brothers, Eddie, Bart, Joe, they all get pissed off because they can't come to the champions dinner, and we rub it in pretty good. This year, Bart finally broke through. He's, the year before he absolutely melted down on the 15th hole, the final round, when he had a shot to beat me. He melted down. This year, he led from pretty much start to finish, and he played pretty good golf there, especially in the last day. And we're not by any means good golfers. We like to play golf. And I think at one point I had my handicap down to around a 9, but I think I'm playing up around a 12 or 13 right now. So I'm not by any means a good golfer, but we love doing it. And it's just kind of, as you know, we're a fairly competitive family, so we get into this thing pretty much every year. And it sucks. There's a traveling trophy, so Bart was super excited to take that home with him on Sunday. And I was sad that I won't have that for the next year.
Is it an absolutely ridiculous trophy, or is it just your standard one?
It's pretty standard. We got, you get there's 12 nameplates on it for engraved names, so Bart will get his name engraved on it. I think after we got 2 more empty blank ones, so we'll have to find out or figure out something else after in a couple of years here what we're gonna do once we run out of nameplates. But yeah, there's a Twitter account that I usually try to update everything, but it just got to be so much because I was trying to play golf and then to try to tweet out results after during the rounds, and then I track all my shots on my phone, and it got to be too much. So I actually probably am looking for a social media director for next year's Reiter Cup. If somebody wants to just ride along and tweet out, that would be a blast. I think if somebody just kind of came along and just I'd let you sign into the Twitter and you could just go from group to group. We had 9 people play this year, which is our biggest ever. So it was obviously we're spending way too much time talking about a dumb golf tournament that the Reiter family likes playing in, but
no, this is great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I expect to dethrone Bart again. I told you before we came on air, I put together this big program every year, and it ended up being, this year got really carried away. It ended up being 48 pages long. But it's if you think about like a sheet of paper folded in half, and then that would be one page. But it's still, there's two player bios, and there's a recap from the last year, and I usually interview one of the contestants, and it ends up being like 48 pages of me being absolutely ridiculous, and it gets carried away.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, I'm definitely the person everybody does not want to win. They openly cheer against me every year, which I'm fine with. I love, it's the same thing. Like I love going to Carver Hawkeye and getting booed. It's just, that's fun. If they're booing you or they're cheering against you, I like that a lot better. So, but got to give Bart credit. He finally broke through and won his first title. So,
how many holes did you say you play?
We played 3 rounds this year. We ended up having to jam it all into a weekend, so we did 36 on Saturday and 18 then Sunday morning, and it gets to be a little much, just because by the end of the 36 on Saturday you're kind of a little bit tired. You're just kind of going through the motions, I guess, a little bit. But
so you had 9 people times 3 rounds, so I'm guessing I'm going to put the line at over/under on Dunkaroos was 30.
There was no Dunkaroos taken, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
I'm talking like
serious.
We actually do kind of take it not serious. Like, I had some beers for sure. Like, I'm not gonna not have beers, but like, we want to win. It's ridiculous, but yeah, we take it a little serious.
Oh wow. Okay.
Serious, but we have fun. I played the national anthem this year on the opening tee. It's just a bunch of nonsense.
It sounds like a whole lot of nonsense.
Yeah. So when you see Bart next, congratulate him on his first title.
Yeah, everyone will have to congratulate him.
Yeah.
All right. You want to move on to something semi-important, I guess.
Yes.
Well, not really. None of this is important at all. But had a pretty big wrestling tournament go on this weekend in Akron. I've seen a lot of people say it's maybe now one of the toughest tournaments there is in the U.S., and I guess I can't really disagree. We were just talking about how there was one bracket in U23s where they had to use a 256-man bracket. And like we said, there's at least 129 kids in there if they're using that big of a bracket. But,
right.
Oh, man, that's nuts. There looked like there were some Storm guys that did pretty well, some Hawks that did decent. They had kind of a bad Sunday morning round, but what are your overall thoughts on that tournament?
It's impressive. I don't know that, everybody says it's the toughest tournament, maybe just because of sheer volume of people, but yeah, I scrolled through some of the brackets today, and there's a lot of people in there that I have never heard of in my entire life. And like I said, I don't know everybody in the wrestling world, but I pay pretty close attention to it. And when we're getting to like the round of 16 and there's 5 guys in it that I have never heard of, that's probably not a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Yeah, one bracket had to go to a 256-man bracket, but you wrestle the first 4 matches are against not really the best guys. So.
Yeah, I suppose. I kind of like what you said there. I was all excited about it Saturday when the brackets came out, and then I was kind of looking at some of the brackets, and I was like, I do not need to check back in on this tournament until Sunday.
Well, yeah. How do you scroll through a 256-man bracket to find names that like stick out to you and like try to project on when these guys are going to meet up? You simply can't do it.
Yeah,
especially in freestyle, where I think freestyle is more susceptible to upsets and stuff like that, just because you get a guy, all of a sudden he sneaks one takedown and he falls into a leg lace, and if he gets it locked right, I don't care how tough you are, if it's locked right, you can't stop it, and all of a sudden now you get teched and match is over, and you never even got started.
Mm-hmm.
So I think freestyle lends itself to more upsets. There's a lot of people out there I saw that are really going for this college should just be freestyle. We're done with folk style thing, and we can talk about that at another time, maybe later in the summer when we don't, there's not actual wrestling going on. But I am very strongly against that. I'm a folk style guy first, and I think it's the better style. But freestyle is entertaining for sure. But I just kind of look at it from my own point of view of like, this is supposed to be one of the toughest tournaments in the country, and I didn't watch a single match from it. And I'd like to think I'm a fairly good wrestling fan, but I don't know. It just doesn't do much for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it just depends on, everything's so geared for college, especially in the U.S. So I think if you swapped out styles, you would never know the difference, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'm a freestyle guy, so I guess we kind of disagree a little bit there. But yeah, that's a whole other conversation for another day. But yeah, it was a good tournament. I guess you had some more kind of young guys popping up through, beating some of the older guys. I mean, they're not too old because it's U23, but you had one that stuck out to me was a Raju from New York. He gave Yanni D, I think, everything he wanted last year, so that's going to be a guy who's going to come right in and be real tough.
Yeah, I think the plan is for him to wrestle 33 for Cornell next year, and he's pretty dang good, man. He's tough. I think isn't his dad Vogar, the former world champ from Russia?
I have no idea. I didn't even.
I'm pretty sure his dad is Vogar, and I used to do camps, J-Rob camps with Vogar, and that guy is a riot, man. He's a little rough around the edges, but
my kind of guy.
Oh yeah, I'm almost certain he won a world title at 114 for Russia way back when that weight existed. But my first and second year at Minnesota, he worked J-Rob camps, and there were a couple times when he beat the crap out of me pretty good. And I mean, he weighed at most 120, and at that point I'm 150 or so, and he's so fast and so technically skilled, but I think he was drunk for half the time too. I mean, I'm pretty sure instead of his camp issued water bottle did not have water in it. It had another clear liquid, I'm pretty sure.
That Russian vodka.
Yes, it definitely did. But he was a good guy. I mean, he was fun. He's like I said, a little rough around the edges, but he's obviously, I'm almost certain that's his son, which makes sense to me. He was a great wrestler, and he'll be a force. And that was the one kind of the first one that stuck out to me too, because him winning U23s and it's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just kind of looking through some of the results here, just kind of refreshing my memory on U23s and
Mitch McKee, Gopher, getting a guy wrestling on another U23 team, coming off, he got second in the field or the UWW juniors last year, and then didn't place in the U23s, but we'll have another shot at U23s this year. And I kind of wonder, I wonder if it's a little bit with they're moving up. Obviously, all the guys are moving up in weight, so maybe this and I think freestyle better suits Mitch. I mean, he's got a head pinch that's about as good as anybody out there, and he's got a phenomenal gut wrench that if he gets it locked up, he can turn a lot of people with. So freestyle is definitely a good style for him, but I'm wondering how much his success this weekend was because it's freestyle or if it's because he's feeling more comfortable up at the bigger weight. I think he'll be I don't think he'll be a small 41 pounder by any means next year. And, going out and teching Cade Brock like that, that's, granted it was 4 turns off of a gut wrench, which you can't do in folk style, but, maybe a little more confidence for him going into next year.
Yeah, look at those guys that finished behind him. You had G. Feller at 8. You had Luke Pletcher, Kevin Jack, Cade Brock, Brock Zackrell, Colt McChrystal, and then Dom Demas, who's made like every world team so far to this point, exception of this one. So yeah, that's a good
list of
guys
names
to stay on the top of.
Yeah, I mean that's an incredible list. I mean Kevin Jack, those guys are Pletcher, those are great wrestlers, and so hopefully this is kind of a springboard for Mitch going into this summer and a good training cycle as he, maybe can focus a little bit more on technique, focus a little bit more on getting bigger and not so much on keeping his frame smaller and maintaining weight.
I'm just happy that these guys seem to be embracing this U23 because, just look at the guys we just listed off there. So that's, pretty much not everybody, but almost everybody's trying for it. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty big deal.
Ohio State put a couple guys on the team too. I saw that that's pretty good. There are 2 guys, Miles Martin and Colin Moore. Colin Moore getting revenge on Kyle Cannell.
Yeah, I didn't watch that match. He whooped him twice.
Yeah, he thumped him pretty good.
Yeah, they pretty much covered the U23 there. Then you're looking through cadets, and it's, a lot of big names you've been hearing for a while. The Manvilles, all these guys we've been hearing about. Bob Howard. So I think that's a pretty tough team, too.
Kirkley made another one, yeah. Greg?
Why did it take so long?
I saw a tweet between the U.S. Open, the UWW Juniors, and now the UWW Cadets. His combined match scores were 115-0, I think, or 113-0, something like that.
Oh.
And those are 3. Now the Cadets, he's coming off a Cadet World title, so the Cadet Nationals probably isn't the toughest tournament for him anymore. But, he's bumping up in age to wrestle juniors and doesn't give up a point in either one of them. And, that's...
What weight does he wrestle for juniors? Does he wrestle 97?
Yes.
So then he's wrestling 110 for cadets because that's how the weights go. Otherwise it'd be 92.
Yeah, heavyweight. Yeah, he's wrestling heavyweight for cadets.
So 110. So not that it really matters, but he might be giving up some weight to some of these cadets, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to matter.
No.
I would be shocked if it does. He's good, man. The goal, we sat down with him, talked to him about what his goals are, and plan is he wants to win 2 world titles this summer. You'd never say a world title is a foregone conclusion, but I think he's a heavy favorite for the cadet one, and I think he's got a real solid shot at the junior one. He's that good.
Man, that's crazy. That's just otherworldly to be thinking about that. But he's that good.
Yeah, and that's kind of it's awesome, but it's kind of we talked about this before going on the air, but I think the plan for him next year is to move to Colorado Springs. I don't know if it's 100% finalized yet, but I think that's the way it's looking, that he'll go to the Springs just so he has, he can focus entirely on wrestling and getting better, and there'll be a lot of workout partners, but at Pinnacle, we've done a lot of good things for him, trying to bring guys in, whether it's, like Hayden Zilmer has come in quite a few times to wrestle him. He wrestles with Scott Schiller a lot. He wrestles with, I think he's wrestled with Steinhaus a little bit, maybe. We got guys around. Donnie Longendike's wrestled with him a couple times. There's big guys around here, so we have partners for him. But
he's a big boy, isn't he, Longendike?
Yeah, yep. So we're throwing a lot of different, looks at him to make sure he's getting well trained and making sure he's well rounded for, the next level for sure. So I'm excited for his future, though.
For sure. It'd be maybe it'd be fun to see the rivalry that hopefully develops between him and Steve Sinks. They'll both be at heavyweight, won't they?
They will. I think that heavyweight, this is going to sound really weird to say, but I think heavyweight is going to be one of the most fun weights to watch with, those two, Mason Paris, Cassiope, Neville's. I mean, heavyweight is going to be good in the next couple years.
Yes, very athletic guys.
Extremely athletic, yeah. I mean, gone is the body shapes of Cole Conrad, I guess I would say.
Easy on your buddy Cole there.
I think I'm allowed to say it, but I'm going to probably pay for it if he ever catches wind of this.
I think the first time I ever met Cole, I was just giving him all kinds of crap. And I don't know if, obviously he doesn't know my style of, joking around with people, but he's probably like, who the hell is this little twerp that keeps giving me crap here?
You are probably lucky you didn't get hammer fisted into the ground.
Yeah, probably.
I can say it though. I was Cole. Me and Cole and I were roommates for 5 years, something like that. So good friends, and I know he would say the same about me if given the opportunity.
We need to get him on the podcast sometime to confirm that, I guess.
Okay, I'll give him 5 minutes of uninterrupted time to trash me.
Might go over a little bit. Okay, all right. Anything else you had to say on that? We didn't really want to go weight by weight because there was just so much to take in there.
No, not so much on that. Yeah, I mean, it was a good tournament. I'll try to, I'll try to get back and watch some of those matches that look interesting and dive deeper into the results. But, it's a good tournament. It's obviously much better than whatever University Nationals used to be. But yeah, it's still just kind of an afterthought. It feels to me like, like nothing, taking nothing away from Hidley, but like, okay, you didn't make the senior team. Here's your consolation prize. And it's not, he's still going to go wrestle in an age level world championship, which is incredible. And it's awesome experience for him. And hopefully a guy that, he's looking every bit the part of a potential USA world team member down the road. So it's good experience. And that's, I think, way I look at it more is just kind of a chance to get guys experience that didn't quite make it, so to speak.
Yep. All right. Raji was kind of the same way. I think he was in the finals of the juniors.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's exactly like you said. It's just, the consolation prize for those guys to get out there and wrestle still world level competition.
Which that's weird to me that he didn't make the junior team, but he made the U23 team.
Yeah, that is kind of nuts, isn't it? I don't know. All right. On to Final X, finally. Are we going to call this Final X Uno or?
Final X Lincoln.
Final X Lincoln. Oh, that's boring.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I know.
Final X Captain America, Kyle Snyder.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was in this one until I was just looking at it. I mean, I knew at one point in time, but I kind of forgot. It
feels like they're coming out with all of our, like, biggest names at the first one to kind of get people's interest.
Mm-hmm. One thing I was kind of thinking today on a ride home, so what happens in like a year where you don't really know who is going to be all the guys in the finals here? How do you, this one's in Nebraska because you got Burroughs and Green,
mm-hmm.
But what about some years where you're not quite sure who the guy's going to be, if we don't bring home a medal?
Yeah, I think that USA Wrestling's just kind of like flying by the seat of their pants right now. They don't plan anything out. This is just like, let's do it this way this year. And they'll probably do it different next year because they don't stick to anything. And that, they're just kind of just, I don't know, it'll work out. That's the way it feels to me. Like it's just always constantly changing because they don't have a plan.
I was kind of thinking, I always have these random thoughts in my head of just ways to do things differently. Not even like things that are done bad to do differently, just different ways of doing it. And I was thinking, like, what if you just did straight double elimination for World Team Trials? So, like, the guy that comes back and gets third, he can come back be second because he beat the guy that got third, or the guy that got second. But you still have to beat the champ twice. So it's your true double elim. But that way, if you lose first round, I mean, you're not done. You still got a shot. So I don't know.
I guess that the only reason I think they wouldn't do that is just because like that goes against everything like at the world level of wrestling where they, with the repertoires where they feel like if you didn't lose to one of the guys in the finals, you don't deserve to get third.
That's so stupid.
Right. I mean, I think their whole bracketing system is so dumb, but that's kind of the philosophy at the world stage where, sorry, you didn't lose to one of the finals. You don't deserve to get to wrestle for a medal.
Do you like it where they don't have the balanced bracket or whatever? I guess I don't know what they call it.
No, I hate that. No, I'm extremely OCD. Like I need everything to be equal. I need everything to be in order and match. Like it drives me up a wall that like there's years when like a bye will make it further in a bracket than a guy. It's just I don't know. It just seems like their system is just.
The first time I ever looked at it, I kind of thought the same thing, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, wait a second, this is actually brilliant. Because now you only have like one match where guys have wrestled different amount of matches in that day. Instead of if you had, your typical 8-man bracket where you only had 6 guys, you'd have a bye on top, bye at the bottom. But, the semis would be a guy that's rested against a guy that had to win to get there. But now you just have it, one time.
Yeah.
So, and not even one time. It's deeper in the tournament before you wrestle a guy, so it kind of is negated. But I don't know. I think it's pretty slick, actually. I'd like to see it over here, to be honest. But
well, I think we tend to try to, at least in Folk Style, it seems like we always keep our brackets to an even round number where it works for a double elimination format.
Uh-huh.
Except for NCAA's when they do 33 guys in a weight.
I don't know if I ever heard the reason behind that.
There is no reason. It's so stupid. Like, just cut 10 guys out, one per weight, make it 32. Your brackets are going to look better on paper. They're going to print better. They're going to be bigger. It
throws everything off that first round where all of a sudden you're in the middle of the 57-pound matches, and here's, that 125 match you had to wait on for the rest.
Right. Yeah, I think the 33 is the dumbest thing in the world, but that's my opinion. But then again, that's the OCD talking. Like, I want an even, nice 32-man bracket.
Were you ever in a pigtail match?
Nope.
You got lucky, huh? Or you were probably praying that you were never in a pigtail match.
No, I didn't want to. But I don't think, because seated guys can't get pigtails, right?
I don't, probably not now, but I feel like it didn't used to be that way.
Maybe not.
I know it didn't used to be that way, but maybe since they went to 33, it's been like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Okay. All right. Final X Lincoln, as you want to call it, the boring name.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll run through your matches quick here. You have 7 matches. You have Gil and Fix, James Green, Jason Chamberlain, Jordan Burroughs, Imar, Kyle Snyder, Kevin Gatson, and then you have the women. You have Becca Leathers against Jericka, I didn't say that right, Winchester, Allie Reagan, Jenna Burkert, Tamara Stock. I've never said these women's names before. I don't even know why I'm trying right now.
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
That makes me a bad wrestling fan. Fine. I'm okay with that. I've never really gotten into it so much, like maybe it's very poor of me to say. Like I'll watch Helen, like for some reason, like she's fun to watch. I think she's extremely talented, and I go back to like that Beat the Streets, some of the scrambles she got into to get out of those singles that's high level technique.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I just haven't been able to. It hasn't, I guess, captured my interest. It's probably bad of me to say, but it's just kind of the way I guess I am.
I'm the same way with Helen. I'll watch her, but then now you got Rachel Waters. She's an Iowa girl. I kind of follow her a little bit.
Okay.
And then Allie Reagan. She's the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. So
okay. Where's Waters from?
Huxley, I believe, or she went to Ballard. So
okay.
And she is wrestling one of these Final X's, I believe. So
Nice.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where even the Greco, like I don't know some of those guys, so I don't really care. But then if I have someone to cheer for, I'll watch.
Yeah.
So
I can't say too much about Greco. I may lose my employment at Pinnacle if Paulson catches word that I'm bad mouthing Greco, but I'm kind of the same way. I'll watch maybe a couple of the people, but I haven't really, just doesn't really capture my interest as much. And I just don't know the rules. They change so much that I don't know what I'm watching. And, I just kind of, I like men's freestyle, probably because it's closest to folk style, and that's kind of where our big name guys go. So that's what kind of keeps me into it.
I used to be a big Greco guy, but that was probably because like none of the names showed up. So if I was like the sixth best in the freestyle bracket, that means I'd probably be third in Greco.
Yeah. Get yourself a nice medal.
Man, I'm like, I'm really good at this. Turns out just less people are showing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So, we kind of follow the women, but not as much as most. So, all right. I guess I was kind of looking through some of the Greco brackets, and one of the only names I recognized on some of the early weights was your boy Sam Hazewinkle. He had many epic battles with.
Yeah, well, I actually think in my life I only wrestled Sam once.
You wrestled him twice at the Southeast Plains region.
Oh, yeah. Nope, yep, you're right. Greco and freestyle. So I wrestled him once in every style. I wrestled the very first time I wrestled him was at Tulsa Nationals. I was in the third grade? Yeah, I was in the third grade. He tech falled me. I always remember it because when he was beating me bad in the third period, and I remember his dad yelling, "Stick him, he's a pickle." And for like years, my dad would always call me a pickle to get under my skin. And we didn't really know if that was a bad thing or not, but like, I think it was a bad thing. I'm pretty certain it was a bad thing, but, then I wrestled him in Greco at Southeast Regional, and he tech followed me pretty good in that one, real good. And then freestyle, we wrestled in that same tournament, and I think I was beating him like 9-4, and late in the second period, third period, whatever it was, I can't remember or if it was just a straight 5 minutes, but, for some reason I kept shooting high C's, and he just crotch lifted me 2 times in a row, and I lost 10-9 to him. So
nice.
0-3 lifetime against Sam Hazewinkle. He's got me in tech falled me 2 different times, and beat me 10-9 once in freestyle. So
yeah, challenge him in some other styles or something.
Well, I think I don't want to go like beach wrestling or anything. I don't know that we're in the same weight class anymore either, judging by where he's been wrestling the last couple years. So
what's the one that Aaron Pico was a world champion where it's kind of like boxing? It starts with a P. I don't know. You're not going to think of it, obviously, if you're not coming up with it. But maybe try that.
Okay.
Look into that a little bit.
I don't like getting punched, though.
Well, I mean, does anyone like getting punched?
Probably not.
Yeah. I don't know. Nobody I want to hang out with likes getting punched, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that was quite the tangent there. Quite the pickle tangent.
Yeah.
I was gonna segue that into Tony Ramos not being able to wrestle Greco, and he's actually wrestling for the True Third now.
Right. Yeah. So they're making all the True Thirds go to the Lehigh Final X, and that's right around the same weekend as the Greco trials. And you think about it, it sucks for Ramos, but look at like Hayden Zilmer or Adam Kuhn. Like those guys are still trying to make the freestyle team, but they also, Kuhn's coming off second at the Open in Greco, and Zilmer's, I think, second or third too. Like those guys actually have legit shots to make the Greco team. Ramos is just, wants to keep wrestling, and credit to him for that. But, like he's not actively training Greco. Those guys are. Those guys are like legit shots to make the team. And because of the stupid Final X 3-week long experiment, they're probably like it's going to be really hard for them.
I don't know who's making Greco decisions, but again, if they're looking for someone to, bounce ideas off them and pay them, I volunteer myself. I'll give you lots of ideas again. Kind of like we tried to get in with the Iowa High School Athletic Association, that we haven't got a phone call quite yet on that, so still holding out hope. I guess we'll see.
Maybe they're sending us like a letter in the mail. That seems like what the Iowa High School Athletic Association would do.
Oh, there's a way we could go with this. I know there's a story there where they didn't send a letter, but okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, so Ramos is wrestling for True Third now.
Yes.
I guess I didn't really read into much of this. Maybe someone's already out here on this theory out in front of me, but to me, there's one reason and one reason only. He switched his mind. He decided he's wrestling this, and it is he talked to Mama, and Mama said, "You are not turning this money down. You are going out and you are winning this money."
Yeah.
For the stipend for.
But I mean, I guess I don't know what the stipend is now. I know it used to be back when when I was in college, it was $1,000 to number one on the ladder, $666 a month to number two, $333 to number three. So
that's a month, you said, per month, right?
Per month, yep. Which isn't bad, but it's what, $3,000 over the year? Like, okay, I mean, it's not terrible, but
yeah, maybe I guess that would probably make a little.
And maybe
more
it's
sense.
gone up. Obviously they didn't even have the living the dream fund back then, so maybe through all that fundraising they did to start that, the medal fund, that they were able to get more for the national team members. I don't know. I haven't heard what the stipend is now, but I know that's what it used to be back then.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking that there was one more zero in your numbers, maybe.
Which would be awesome if there is. I that'd be great. But I know for a fact that's what it was back when I was in college.
Yeah. But I guess if he was wrestling for $10,000, then the whole thing he said about not even being worth it going, it's worth $10,000 to go fly to Pennsylvania.
Make weight, wrestle Sanders, beat him, win $10,000. That's worth it.
It must not be that much, I guess, but I'm sure Mama penciled it out and she's like, nope, I want a new pair of shoes. Go and do this, please.
Yeah. Go cut weight, suffer for 2 weeks, make weight, win the money.
Exactly.
That'll be interesting. We can get to that, that one later. Let's talk about Final X Lincoln.
We have held off long enough.
Yep.
Okay. You pick whichever one of these four you want to start off with.
Well, let's start the lightweight. Gilman Fix.
All right. Go ahead.
Maybe this is recency bias, but I am taking Fix in this thing. I think he's going to beat him. I think it'll go 3 matches, but there's going to be one of the matches where he gets on top and he gets his trap locked and it's going to be over. Gilman hand fights really well, but Fix can score in a lot of different ways. And I think freestyle, he's extremely dangerous. I think it's weird. Like I pick Fix over Gilman in freestyle, but I would pick, if they meet up next year, I would pick Spencer Lee over Fix in folk style.
I'm pretty confident with Fix here too. Okay, I got to make sure I preface this here, because this is where I get in trouble sometimes. Okay, Thomas Gilman, world silver medalist, right?
Right.
They don't hand those things out. No matter how you do it, you're really good. He had a very easy road to get second. I think the best guy he beat was number 16 in the world.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who that even was, but I know I saw that somewhere. But like the guy he beat in the semis from North Korea, yeah. It's, he really only had a good month or so there, and he was the underdog. He's not a very good wrestler when he's has the target on his back.
Yeah.
He's proven that. That's really not, up for argument that much. He's proven it a couple times at NCAA. So, he's the guy here. I guess we'll find out pretty quick. But yeah, I don't feel like that's going out on a limb at all. I would take Dayton Fix for sure, and I think it has potential to get ugly.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
I saw an outstanding tweet right after the Pan Ams I don't know if you saw it too. I can't remember who tweeted it, but it was, and they didn't name his name, which made it even better. But it was just like after he didn't do very well at Pan Am's, it was just, can we revoke the bye to the finals for a person or for somebody like, I can't remember exactly how it was worded, but it was very obvious they were talking about Gilman and taking away the bye to the finals. But yeah, I wish I knew who tweeted it. It was pretty funny.
All he lost to was Ortega, wasn't it?
Was it?
I can't remember, but that guy's really good. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and then he didn't have all that good a showing at World Cup, and I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was a combination of both events too. You know, he's obviously, and he routinely puts himself. Granted, he comes out on top a lot, but he puts himself in position to lose matches. I mean, we talked about it a while back where he nearly lost in the finals of the last chance qualifier just trying to get into trials last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he almost lost to DeShazer there. He had to come from behind to win right at the end. And it's like, your margin for error is not big, and you can only keep doing that so many times.
Yeah.
And you can't give a guy like Dayton Fix a big lead because he's too experienced to give it back to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have nothing more to add, really. I mean, I think we both agree this is Dayton Fix is probably going to be the guy here, is what we think. So,
is this the best chance at one of the guys that has sitting out or is a bye to the finals to not win? Or not a bye to the finals, but in that sat out the Rochester tournament?
Well,
or
60,
Dake,
61, you're going to say, 65, because you'd figure Stever over McKenna probably, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But maybe 61, but outside of that.
Valencia,
right?
Dake, maybe.
Yeah, even that one. Okay, yeah, you're right. So, yeah.
There's some good ones coming up.
Yeah, there is, for sure. But, yeah, this is one of the ones right up there.
Okay.
I haven't seen any betting lines on them, I guess, to see who the favorites are, but yeah. Okay.
All right, you pick the next one. What way are we going to?
Oh, God. Let's just do 70. I don't really have much to say on this. James Green against Jason Chamberlain / Andrew Hochstrasser, even though I'm the only guy that gets those two confused just because they're from Boise. This one is not all that intriguing to me. It might be the least intriguing match of them all, I guess. I don't know. Some might say Kyle Schneider, but I would say 70. So I think this is Green, and that's that.
Yeah. It would be hard. I don't think you could find, outside of close friends and family, anybody that's going to pick Jason Chamberlain here. And maybe even then, they're a little more realistic. I think that, credit to Jason Chamberlain, he's going to be number 2 on the ladder. But I think there's a large gap between James Green and the rest of everybody else. And it'll be, I think what I'm most excited or interested to see is what point does James Green start moving to the Olympic weight? And what happens when that eventually has to happen? Does Green wrestle one more year next year at this weight and then try to move up to take on Burroughs? I don't think he can go down, right?
I mean, that's over 10 pounds, right? Almost 11.
Yeah.
So,
and I think he's cutting quite a bit to make this. I would be shocked if he could get down.
I think it was FRL, so it's not like it's a crazy take, but I was kind of agreeing with what they were saying maybe is, it's going to be kind of weird just because Burroughs is the guy there. I'm sure they're best buddies.
Yeah.
So it might kind of be he just tries to win that non-Olympic weight world title and he just kind of, YOLO throws his name into 74. I mean, not that he's just going to do like day of, like, why not? Let's go 74. He's obviously going to train for it, but, he might not put his, not even saying put his heart and soul, but yeah.
Just understands that unfortunately he won't be an Olympian.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the way it works out.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like I think it was either Willie or Christian that had that, but I kind of like that take that they had.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with it, so.
And there's nothing wrong with winning a non-Olympic weight world title if he does it next year, Realistically, next year would be his best shot to win it because most guys won't have that situation he's in where their close friend is the next representative up. So you're not going to move up then. You know, most guys in the world will start to migrate next year towards those Olympic weights. So those non-Olympic weights are going to be a little thinner.
Well,
not that they won't be good. Obviously, they're still going to be good, but
because they'll be after, so guys can still come back, right? Is that how that is? I think they wrestled after the Olympics.
Well, no, I'm saying next year is the World Championships because it'll be the last year before the Olympic year, and I think most people will want to do at least 2 years at their Olympic weight to try to give themselves their best chance.
I guess I understand the reason you want to win the Olympics and whatnot, but I guess to me it's, I don't know. I don't understand. It's not as big a pull to me as these guys make it out to be, but at the same time, like, my name's not even anywhere near that level, but I don't know. World title's a world title, man. Take it where you can get it, because
it is, but
can wrestle there.
It'll always be. It just will always be thought of as a step below the Olympics. Whether it's fair or not, it will be. The Olympic Games is just something entirely different. You know, there's the opening ceremonies, and you're competing in the same event as Usain Bolt, and you're walking into the arena with Michael Phelps. And it's just, whether you want to get caught up in all that or not, it's just, the Olympics are an entirely different thing, and they always will be. So, as much as I hate the Olympic Committee for what it does to wrestling and just constantly keeps taking more and more from us, and at some point, someday, I think we'll ultimately have to just say, you know what, we're done with the Olympics and we're going World Championships every year. For the way it is right now, the Olympics are at a different level than the World Championships.
You don't think some of these opening ceremonies where these guys come dressed out as like pandas or whatever are on the same level as the Olympic opening ceremonies?
They're just a slight step below.
All right, I guess, tomato to me, so, all right. Okay, on to 74. Jordan Burroughs, Isaiah Martinez. It's your turn on this one, so what do you think?
I want to believe that Imar can get to his underhooks and get to his offense. I just don't know how he's going to be able to get close enough. I think it's going to be kind of like a chess match, and Imar trying to close that gap. James Green and Jordan Burroughs are obviously two different wrestlers. They have somewhat similar styles, but not entirely. They have a few differences in them. But Imar always controlled James Green. Obviously, Jordan Burroughs is another level up, and it'll be. I don't think he can win, but I think it's going to be close. I don't think he's going to get blown out like some people are saying. I think he's not going to get teched. I don't think he'll get teched in either match.
I don't think this is close. I don't know what it is with Imar. I only won, 2 national titles his first 2 years. But then I guess his inability to figure out Vincenzo kind of, stock down to me with him. I don't know. He just wasn't able to adapt to what Vincenzo was throwing at him. And it was almost like it was like a mental block. So I think this is going to be kind of the same thing. I mean, outside of the Vincenzo match, I really no other reason to think that, because Imar's crushed absolutely everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about one of the greatest of all time, maybe the greatest of all time. We're just not at the end of his career yet, so we don't know. But I don't think this one's close.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely fair to say. I guess I'm trying to, maybe my heart's picking a little bit more here. I want to see Imar compete and see that he's close.
Mm-hmm. You have anything else on this one?
No, I mean, we both picked Burroughs. I just think it'll be a little closer.
Okay. All right. Okay. On to 97. Kyle Snyder versus Kyvan Gatson. I'm going to make you go first on this one for good reason. So.
Yes. My guy.
Yep.
Kyle Snyder. Actually, this Final X has both my two favorite wrestlers. So, yeah.
Thomas Gilman and Kyle Snyder.
Yep, exactly. Thomas Gilman and Kyle Snyder are both here. Yeah. But obviously, you can always keep going back to the NCAA finals match with Kyvan. And you kind of use that as like hey, there's still a puncher's chance, but there's not. Snyder's at a whole nother level from where he was then, and I like Kyvan. I think he's a cool dude and a pretty good representative of the sport, but you're up against Captain America, man.
Okay, how do I say this so I can be right both ways? Kyle Snyder, one of the best in the world, maybe even better than Jordan Burroughs. Probably going to win. But, yeah, like you said, you got Kyvan Gadsden. What happened in the NCAA finals. I'm really not even basing this on that match. I'm more basing it on the Salas-Perez match, where I think if there is any chink in Kyle Snyder's armor, I mean, it might be a very small one. It might be he's susceptible to some of that upper body stuff.
Yeah.
And this year, I think, sets up to help Gadsden like the most out of any years, because it is, for like a month straight, I'm worrying about Kyle Snyder and absolutely nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
So in years past, I don't think this is close. And I mean, it still might not be close, but, Gadsden goes through the challenge tournament, finally gets to Snyder, he's beat up, no chance. But, I'm sure they've been watching that Salas-Perez tape a lot. And I just think, I don't know. I don't think it's that close. But like I said, how do I say this so I'm right both ways? But there's a shot, I think. There's really something in there that I think he can take from those matches, so.
I do not think there's a shot. I guess they were exactly opposite, like the same way I hope that Imar would be closer with Burroughs and you don't think it's going to be close. I think you hope this one's going to be closer with Snyder, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think Kyle's too solid. I think the Salas-Perez match, he was maybe underestimating him a little bit, and it was a 4-point move. It was the big thing that happened, and then Salas shut down. And
yeah, but he scored 4 more, didn't he? Didn't he get 8? Was it 8?
It was 8, but he'd already had 4 before that. I can't remember what it was off of. I think there was a couple push-outs in there, and maybe 1 takedown. But it was the big 4-point move is what, kind of shocked and awed everybody. And I just think if you look at it, I think we talked about this on a previous episode, that it almost looked like Kyle almost slipped on a shot a bit on the mat, and then that opened the door where Perez kind of re-attacked him because he wasn't ready, or he was trying to maybe go behind or something. I can't remember exactly how it went down. And I don't think if he slips, I think he actually finishes the shot, and now all of a sudden it's a 6-point swing. So the mat may have had something to do with that. I'm not going to read too much into it. I think it maybe showed it was good for him, and I think it showed a little more that the kid's got a ton of heart, and he can come back against some of the best in the world when he's down 7 points. So I'm pretty confident that this one's not going to be that close.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm betting a lot of money on Snyder winning, but I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to hedge so I can say I'm right both ways. But
There you go.
So don't come yelling at me, everyone. All of I don't know if we're going to get 300 people listen to this one or 5,000 again. We'll see. Don't come running at me saying, oh, Snyder beat him 10-0, 10-0. You're an idiot. No, I picked that.
Yeah.
But when Gadsden beats him.
You're doing the old Stephen A. Smith deal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, he annoys me too. I just heard I think it was just today he was he was going crazy, and the Golden State fans were all cheering behind him, and it just got him all wound up like a rodeo clown. I was like, you would not be saying that in a neutral place, but you have all the Golden State fans behind you cheering you on.
Yeah, he's a bit of a knucklehead. You got anything else?
No.
I do, actually. I got one more thing. I was down in Northern Plains, and I had a lot of people coming up to me and asking. There was rumors going around that maybe Gable Steveson wasn't getting into school at Minnesota or something. There was grades problems or something. I had quite a few people come up to me and ask if he wasn't getting in. And I talked to Luke Becker this morning, and I have confirmation he is absolutely in school. He actually is going to start summer school next week. So, they've been doing that a lot with a lot of guys, kind of starting them early. And I think, I know Peyton Robb was heading down to Nebraska to start summer school. It seems like more and more teams are kind of doing that, getting guys on campus maybe that summer before, their first year, and just kind of, they train there and start them in school early, get them acclimated a little bit. So the rumors are not true.
When you start early, I guess.
I don't think it means anything. I think it just kind of, you can help spread out, your class load a little bit. And I'm sure you're just taking an introductory class, you're probably taking 4 to 6 credits maybe.
Okay.
But it's just kind of get those guys on campus, get them started early before, once the fall hits, chaos, the first couple weeks there, it's just chaos. So this way, for a lot of those guys, and I wish I would have done this. You move up there, you get all that, you get acclimated to living in a new place, out on your own for the first time. You get used to that whole situation before your training really begins, Whereas for me, I moved up to Minneapolis from Gilbertville, Iowa, and I was shell shocked for a while. The first month was really, really hard for me. I was struggling in the room, getting my butt kicked, and I just wasn't used to that. And, living in a city with all those people is just so much different than the farm in Gilbertville. So, I think that, I think it's a good idea. Get those guys on campus, get them down there where you can start, training them early. And, I think for Gable, obviously the plan is he's not redshirting, so he's going to have to, once the fall hits, he's all in on competing and everything right away. So get started, gets a couple credits out of the way so you can kind of lighten your class load a little bit. But I just wanted to, I don't know if anybody's listening and ever heard that rumor, but I wanted to kill that thing before people tried to spread it too far.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, so I don't know if that was just a Minnesota thing or whatever. But
yeah, I had quite a few people at Northern Plains ask me about it. So.
Oh. Yeah, I lived through that a little bit too. With I played junior college baseball for a year, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna go have fun, play baseball in college, and you're like, oh no, this is a job.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't expecting this, and then. Yeah, like you said, from Gilbertville, Iowa, to Mason City is a little bit smaller, but it's like, oh, this is a little different.
It's still a change, man. And you never know how an 18-year-old kid's going to react to being on their own.
Yeah.
And obviously Gable's not moving far from Apple Valley, and his brother's already there, but it's just a change. And, anything you can do to help ease it on these kids, by all means, do it. Get these kids the best possible opportunity to succeed.
Mm-hmm. I think everybody gets homesick to an extent too, whether they admit it or not. But that passes. So yeah, get it in, get them be homesick. But once we get into wrestling season, hit at full speed. So
right.
No, totally right. Okay. All right. How long is this? About an hour?
Yeah, we're 58:42 right now.
All right. I'll be curious to see how many people listen to this. We've been doing really well. We've been hearing the numbers of other wrestling podcasts, and somehow we're doing very well, I guess. So
we probably lost them all though last week, not recording.
How depressing would that be? Like we're just building it up, and all of a sudden
we get like 12 downloads this week.
Yeah, I mean, I got one brother who listens to it, and you got 3, so there's
Well,
4
all we have to do is
listeners.
tell Bart that we talked about him winning the Reiter Cup, and he's going to absolutely tell everyone to listen. So
Post it across all of his social media platforms.
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Well, we got Final X this weekend.
Yep.
I'll be watching.
Yep. Make sure we actually got a couple of reviews on our podcast.
Did you leave any more reviews?
No, I don't think I can. I gotta put my hand up here and admit to something. So my review is the one that pops right up, and I kept scrolling down. I couldn't find them. I was like, oh, I guess nobody else reviewed. And I accidentally swiped to the right the one day, and I was like, oh, you slide them, and there's actually quite a few reviews here. So,
I gotta go check these out then.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good with technology, but I felt like such a boner when I did that. I was like, what an idiot. But Jason Bryant claims he is not the only 4-star review we have. So
he 4-starred us?
No, he said he didn't. We were blaming him, and it's right there. He's a 5-star. So
okay, just making sure. I'll have words with him.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Okay. Insert witty, end to the podcast here, I guess. Thanks for listening, guys. It's episode 11. Cranking these out every Monday night. Get them out every Tuesday. We're having a lot of fun doing them, so hopefully, tell us what you think. Rate, subscribe, review, listen, all that jazz. I don't know. I'm just babbling. All right.
Thanks,
guys.
See you guys.